Hey everyone, Tony here from the Guides Association. And if you've been paying attention to any of our blogs or podcasts recently, I keep mentioning that we have a big announcement, something that we've been working on for a year. And here it is. To my side, we have a good friend of mine, Lee and Cho, who is developed what we think is probably the best fishing app that anyone has ever seen. And the really cool thing is, right off the bat, we're going to be contributing to some really critical science, specifically on striped bass. I'm sure a lot of y'all are aware with the great work that Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries is doing on the catch and release mortality study for striped bass. And they've got this great survey, and are asking right now Massachusetts residents to participate, to give them more data, so this study can kind of lead and guide us forward on best practices, the biggest impacts on release mortality, all of these things that we just don't know. So what we've done is we've tailored this app to reflect the survey for striped bass. You do not have to live in Massachusetts. Any striped bass fisherman from North Carolina to Maine can contribute to this study. And the really neat thing about the app is, just contributing to science is not enough for people to use something day in and day out and kind of have it, conflict with your ability to fish as hard as possible when you're out on the water. So what Lou and his team have developed is this fantastic utility where at the end of the day, it automatically creates a fishing log for you that can tell you important information like moon phase, tide, all of these different facets that it collects instantaneously when you record a catch, and then converts it in a non-SQL database that will you can now search by all of these different factors to learn more about fishing. And that's the key to this app. It's to learn. And we all try to keep logs, and we all do a terrible job at it. And this is going to do it for you. And what we do with the data that you enter into it is we will scrub that data. The scientists don't need to know really where you caught the fish. It's basically within a 10-mile radius of where you were. And so the scientists essentially know a region and a state where you caught the fish for their data purposes. And we know that recreational data collection and new forms of collecting this data are a priority of NOAA. A lot of the regional councils, as well as the Atlantic State Marine Fisheries Commission and individual states. So, the Guides Association is known as kind of the striped bass group. So we figured that this launch would fit best with MA DMF study. You guys obviously know we live and die by the sword of science. We're really excited on how this is going to kind of change the way people fish and the ability of an average citizen to contribute to science, that citizen science, and have it actually be used to further our knowledge of, everyone's favorite fish, striped bass. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Lou Yin, have him talk a little bit about this, our partnership with MA DMF, our partnership with industry partners like Hatch Reels, and how everyone's gotten behind this. And this all may seem a little shocking because it's going to be a lot to download, but just understand that we've been working our tails off for about a year on this and keeping it real quiet. And so here we are today, letting the world know. So Lou's the smart guy in the room, and I'm going to let him take it away so nobody has to listen to me anymore. But we appreciate y'all tuning in.
Well, thanks, Tony. And I'm super excited to be here at this point. It has been a long journey. We've been talking about this for over a year. And, as Tony said, the, very short and sweet version of what GotOne is I as a obsessed saltwater fly fisherman, saltwater fisherman in general, I've long kept logs, fishing logs, but they just become hard to maintain when you're in waders or on a boat with water sloshing around and fish coming over the gunnels, and you've got a notepad and a pen. It's been my dream for many years to actually replace that traditional methodology with something more modern, namely a mobile app. Since your phone knows where you are, what time of day it is, what day it is, and from that data also can pull together a wide array of environmental information. It's really useful for anglers to have associated with their catches, so they know what drives their fishing success, and so they can remember the great catches in their fishing careers. So that's what GotOne is. It supports a number of different game fish species, and will continue to add species over time. Our collaboration with MAS DMF is focused on striped bass. So one of the things that got Tony and me really excited when we first started talking about my ideas of this app were that it could be something that was valuable not only to you as an angler, but that the aggregate data could really help to fill a big hole or blank right now in fishery science, which is robust data about recreational catches, and particularly about catch and release activity. So the idea is use it as a tool for yourself. It should make your fishing more fun. It should make it more informative, more data driven, and hopefully make you a more successful angler. I know, in having used a prototype version of this for the last couple seasons, I learned more over the last 2 seasons of fishing using the app than I had in probably the prior 40 years combined. So I'm really excited for everyone else to use it and to tell us what you think and how we can make it better. But as Tony said, the beauty of this is by using the app, you're not just using it for your own personal benefit. You are contributing as a citizen scientist to the science of fishery management and marine biology. And the key to that, as Tony mentioned, is we aggregate the data, we anonymize it, so your personal information is not being shared with the research community, and we generalize the location information so that your super secret spot, your honey hole, whatever it is, will never be blown. That's your data. The data gets generalized by many, many miles, just so that the fisheries scientists and researchers have a sense of where the participation is taking place, where the effort's taking place. We, as Tony mentioned, ASGA has been just a huge supporter and partner in all of this. We're super thankful for support from the Nature Conservancy, from Massachusetts DMF, from Hatch as well, and just the tireless effort by a lot of people in the community to help with the design and the implementation of this app. So very easy to get. We'll put the link in the video description. It's just GotOne, one word, on the App Store, the Apple App Store, and on Google Play. If you want to participate in the MAS DMF striped bass catch and release study, citizen science study, you need to go to the MAS DMF website, and we'll put links in for that in the description as well. And you apply to be a citizen scientist. They will send you an email, and the email will have a link to a page that will unlock the special features in GotOne for you to be able to support the striped bass study. And I'll show you exactly how that's done. To use GotOne, just download it from the Apple App Store or from the Google Play Store. In the app, just tap the GotOne button to log a fish, or use a microphone for voice entry. Specify the species and the length. That's it. GotOne does the rest, using your location and the data and time to record important fishing data related to your catch, such as the tide, water temperature, air temperature, and the moon phase. If you're out of cell range, GotOne records the catch locally and syncs the data once you're reconnected to the internet. If you forget to log a fish when you catch it, you can create the entry at a later time or date, then simply tap the edit icon and change the time and/or location of the catch. GotOne will pull the correct historical environmental data into your log entry. GotOne lets you review all your historical catches along with the specific conditions, location, date, and time. You can see trends by tapping on the chart button. To use GotOne to support Mass DMF striped bass research, just go to the Mass DMF website, the link's in the video description, and register as a participant in the study. You'll get an email with a link to a special GotOne page with directions on how to use the app for the striper study. You need to open this link on your mobile browser. If you already have the GotOne app, this will enable extra features to let you record data for the study. Once you've registered to participate in the Mass DMF study with your GotOne app, you'll notice you get a new Striper Study tab once you click the edit icon. Here you can record all the data needed to support the research study. Length of time to land the fish, length of time to release the fish, things like the number of hooks you've used, where the fish was hooked. Once you're done, when you click the check mark, the data is shared with the Mass DMF research team without providing your specific location information. And that's it. You now have an accurate record of the striped bass that you just caught, along with the satisfaction of knowing that you've contributed to the science behind the Mass DMF striped bass study.
I think y'all can all see how cool this thing is. I just want to reiterate, look how old I am. I despise cell phones and spot burning and all that stuff more than you appreciate and or could imagine. And the first discussion on this app was, how do we make sure that people are safe? And I think, this has been addressed, and I hope you have a level of confidence with this, because frankly, if y'all don't log the fish, none of this is going to matter. It's going to make you a better fisherman. It's going to empower scientists with the ability to have the best data available, and apply those to management decisions, which will probably most likely, hopefully, fingers crossed, give us a better future. And I think even more exciting is it is not going to stop with striped bass. I can tell you right now, we'll be collecting data on the redfish and a couple of other species. We'll be announcing that here shortly. And what we're doing is filling some very basic holes in stock assessments. Nothing, not real-time catch accounting, but just some very basic information that can give scientists a better idea of what, populations of fish look like. Again, to inform management decisions. So this is a super easy way to make yourself a more informed, better fisherman while informing science so they can make better decisions. So all we can hope more than anything is that y'all download this app and you start, countless times in the Guides Association, on social media, people text me, people email me, Tony, how can I help? This is the lowest bar of how you can help, because we're never an organization to criticize science. We're never an organization to kind of, I always say, like, throw fruit from the cheap seats and criticize. Like, we get right into the arena and say, how can we make a positive difference instead of just being a bunch of complaining ninnies? And I think this app embodies the conservation ethos of the Guides Association and Lou and our industry partners and the state agencies who are, have enough forward thinking vision to understand the value of this. I mean, I cannot explain to y'all how difficult it is to convince a state agency with the credibility and respect of Mass DMF to give this a chance to help some of their most critical, important research. It's a huge validation for me and Lou and the rest of our team that have been working on this, but it should also be a validation for all of y'all listening to this, because we have basically been approved by, frankly, one of the top state agencies in the country, to collect data for one of their most important research projects. And this is just going to be a first step. Like I said, you're going to see more and more announcements by ASGA and GotOne and our partnership that are going to collect data for species that we're working on. I mean, I'm okay to say, our friend the Albie we're going to be collecting data on that through the app as well as redfish. And there's some more fish that we'll roll out slowly. But this is something where with minimal effort, you can make a difference while keeping the logbook that you always wanted to keep, but were too tired to write in when you got home. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks, Lou, for the awesome presentation. Please download the app, give it a shot. And if you have any questions, put those questions up there, because just like everything else, nothing's perfect. And your feedback is important to us because we're committed to this being around for a very long time. And the more users we have and the more feedback we get, the better the product is going to be for you and for the scientists. So don't hesitate. We don't take a lot of pride in this. We just want it to be the best thing possible. We look forward to your feedback. Appreciate y'all watching this, and hopefully look forward to some better management decisions on the horizon that are powered by your desire to make things better for you and future generations.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everybody.